Welcome back to the Daily Dribble podcast, guys. As always, I'm your host, Nick Zammit, here back for the final installment of our NBL show for season 2022 and 2023, should I say. What a season it has been, without a doubt the most enthralling season to date, in my eyes, of NBL. From start to finish, it has been non-stop, frenetic to say the least, and it ended in the most suspenseful. We'll go suspenseful way with the Game 5 victory for the Sydney Kings over the New Zealand Breakers last Wednesday night, thus cementing themselves as back-to-back champions. A phenomenal effort from both teams. Certainly looking forward to getting into that one a little bit more shortly soon. Before we do so, though, a big shout out to both Stadium Scene and The Cover, two tremendous networks doing tremendous things for not only us, but other content creators in and around Australia, the US, Canada. So we certainly appreciate all their continued work and continued support of us here at the Daily Dribble. Let's get into some quick odds and ends, though, before we chat a little bit more about the NBL Grand Final. Now, some of these are from the week prior, but still relevant in their own sense. We'll start with a little bit of free agency news. Now, I'll be sure to keep you guys up to date with all the fallout over the coming weeks as that really kicks off. But just a couple of quick points here with trade news and free agency. Tyrell Harrison from the Brisbane Bullets has signed a 2-year extension. He's averaged 5 points, 4.5 rebounds on 82% from the field this season. Mind you, all of that being inside the arc, but nevertheless, 82% from the field is fantastic. A phenomenal clip there. Saw a bit of a dip in his minutes this season and output, which is to be expected, but we'll be hoping to be a big contributor next season for the Bullets, as they are desperate. They were really desperate to make a finals berth this year. Wasn't to be the case. In many people's eyes, they were arguably one of the favourites to not even make the playoffs, or the play-in, should I say. They will be desperate to return to that former glory and to make themselves the most competitive team possible. So they'll be hoping Harrison can be a big part of that. And again, I've spoke about it with other teams over the last few weeks. Start to build a little bit of continuity within the squad. On other Bullets news, Tanner Krebs has also decided to test his value in free agency. Now, for me, being a Tassie boy, Krebs being a Tassie boy as well, should I say, it would be great to snag his signature. Now, it's a name we've been rumoured with over the last couple of weeks, but I would love to have this one put pen to paper. Let's get it done. Krebs down here with the JackJumpers. That would be a fantastic acquisition. And for him as well, the home crowd would just go absolutely bananas to have him playing for us on My State Bank Arena as opposed to being the opposition. So hopefully that one falls into place. In other news, Anthony Dribble will become a free agent after both him and the Adelaide 36ers opted out of the contract that they had in place there. They were looking to opt out and then renegotiate, but they weren't able to snag a deal in this one. Now, a bit of a breakdown, whether that's money, whether that was role, not sure what the case was there, but Dribble will also be a free agent. Likewise, Robert Franks for the 36ers isn't expected to return, nor is Daniel Johnson. So, again, another team that was probably, for most pundits out there, their favourite heading into the season. They fell well short of expectations. Again, they're going to have a lot of work to do this off-season to reach the lofty expectations that they've put on themselves as a franchise now. Undoubtedly, this year was hugely disappointing, and over the coming weeks, I'll do a bit of a season review on all 10 teams within the league. But for my eyes, they're probably the one that failed to reach the expectations most. A very disappointing season there in Adelaide, but when you hit rock bottom, the only way is up. Speaking of free agent, Ben Eyre from the Cairns Taipans will also become a free agent after his team option wasn't picked up, much to my surprise. Now, there will no doubt be plenty of suitors for Ben based on his playoff performance there. He was fantastic against the Sydney Kings with the undermanned Taipans. Was really a shining light and certainly didn't hurt his contract chances at all with the displays he put in. So Again, another name that's somewhat been rumoured with the Jack Jumpers. Would love to see him make the transition down south, but watch this space as well. Speaking of Jack Jumpers, there's quite a bit of news happening down here in Hobart at the moment. Namely, this happened the other week, but the Jack Jumpers are on the hunt for a new CEO after Simon Brookhouse resigned a couple of weeks ago now. Done a phenomenal job since the club's inception and leaves the club in a really, really healthy position moving forward. No doubt a massive loss. What he did, he was the building block. He was the foundation. Lord Scott Roth here. It's certainly going to be big, big shoes to fill. Certainly I had the opportunity to meet Mr. Brookhouse. That's very official. Let's call him Simon. Meet Simon on a couple of occasions and spoke to him. A terrific guy, terrific operator, and no doubt we'll have big things in store for him. We certainly wish him all the best and thank him for what he's brought to not only the NBL but Tasmania as a whole as well. Has really done a fantastic job in being the guiding force behind this franchise. Continued Jack Jumpers talk. Scott Roth mentioned last week how at this point in time, only All-NBL first-team player Milton Doyle was the only import to be offered a new contract as of yet. Now, in regards to Josh Majette and Rashad Kelly, they would assess their contract situations in due time based on what happened with Doyle and based on local NBL player decisions. Now, as a funny little predicament at the moment, I think if I was a franchise, I would be looking at bringing back Majette. Unfortunate that he went down with that untimely injury in the last game of the regular season this year. Who knows how that series against the Breakers would have played out had he have been healthy. But I think what he offers as an on-court general is huge. I would love to see him come back. Didn't quite have the shooting season that we'd hope for based off season one, but still would be a key contributor for a Jack Jumpers franchise, knocking on the doors of being a powerhouse within the competition. On the Jack Jumpers, Sam McDaniel has declined his player option and will become a free agent, as will Matt Kenyon. So two big names there who have been, again, done phenomenal things in their own right for the Jack Jumpers in their first two seasons within the league, but looking now to test the waters in another NBL franchise. So certainly wish them both all the best. Spoke to Sam McDaniel the other week. Don't want to give too much away or get the hopes too high, but things are in motion to hopefully have him on the podcast in the coming weeks as well. So certainly looking forward to that. I won't hinder him too much about leaving the Jack Jumpers, but it's going to be a fantastic opportunity to chat to him and just chat to how he's found the last couple of years down here, because we as fans have found it just totally engrossing. It'll be a fantastic opportunity to hear from a player who's been in the thick of it since day one. Also on the Jack Jumpers, they've re-signed Fabian Krislovic to a new 2-year extension. Phenomenal reward for effort for the big man there. Playing behind Magne there, he has been electric. Really offers such an offensive threat as well as defensive. His ability to hit the three ball, I think, has really come on in probably the last 6 to 12 months in particular, hitting it with some real consistency and fluidity now. So I'm delighted to have him back and have no doubt in my mind that he'll do big things next season. Pushing ahead, news as reported by News Corp, the New Zealand Breakers are set to play at least 2 games this coming October versus NBA competition. Last season, we saw the Adelaide 36ers go and tackle Phoenix. Now, we might all remember that was just a ridiculous game. Adelaide toppling the Suns in what was one of the more spectacular